I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of the land on which this podcast is recorded today. Also pay respects to the elders past and present, and extend that respect to any other Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people who may be listening today. This is Melanated in Melbourne, a podcast designed to give an insightful look into the Australian lifestyle from the lens of two Black American besties. Welcome back, Melanation. I'm Ri'chard.
I'm Drew.
And this is Melanated in Melbourne.
Melanated in Melbourne.
We're both tired, everyone. We are here. I'm actually going to give Drew some credit because there have been plenty of times where we're recording on a Sunday and he will have just not gone to sleep for the weekend. Like, I think it was the friendship breakup episode that you showed up after a 3-day bender.
Yeah.
How was last night different? Are you just like, I'm going to be kind of good? Because he texted me at 4:50, everyone. Drew texted me at 4:50. Like, I just got home. But again, getting home is important. I will give you credit. I know I just shaded you, but I'm also going to give you your credit because that is impressive.
Okay, so let's start off in saying I was responsible last night.
Yes.
I went home and I went to sleep before 5:30, and I got up this morning before my alarm clock, I think.
And before I called you, because you answered right away.
Yeah, exactly. So, I was responsible, and look at me now.
Look at you now.
I'm showered. I've got new clothes on today. It's a brand new day.
It's a brand new day. Happy Sunday session. I mean, oop.
Maybe.
So this episode is going to be a very fun one. Nicole has another gig because she's booked and busy, but Drew is once again being our luxurious co-host on it. Yes, that's for both. That's for Nicole and for Drew, just to be clear. Like, everyone's getting their applause. It's absolutely necessary.
No, but can I just, that's for Nicole. That specifically was for Nicole, of me pressing the button.
Oh, yes. The button was pressed for Nicole, and the applause was for Nicole and Drew. Damn it. These Libras, they're going to kill me. So it's been a very hectic 7 days. How's your week been? Because I'll go for you, and then I've got so many things happening in the podcast realm, especially.
Okay. Precursor to. Okay, I'm just gonna stop now. But there's a Nicole. Where's the button?
Which button are you looking? How's Nicole going to osmosis the answer to you? What button are you looking for? I think it's this one. Nope, that's a bird chirp. See, this is why I don't touch the buttons either. Anyway.
Okay. Overall, it's been a good week. A little crazy, but when is life not? I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying my time. I'm enjoying the space I'm in and the people that I'm surrounding myself with.
Beautiful. We love that. We absolutely love that. This week is actually very busy for me. So after the last episode we recorded, I went home and shaved my entire beard off to go do drag for a friend's house party.
Really?
Yes. It was supposed to be a bad drag party. And
wait, I'm sorry. The photos I saw was not.
I know. I don't follow the instructions, okay? I don't listen. I don't know how to look bad in public. It's not for me. It's against my religion. I don't do it. So it was supposed to be a bad drag party. My friend Ben and I went. It was like 4 or 5 of us who also don't listen. So we showed up looking like the baddest bitches in Melbourne. And then these other 4 people who took it as a literal bad drag party went to the dollar store, had a wig that was missing all these tracks. Ooh. They had a full beard. The outfit wasn't doing anything. They're like, it's bad drag. And it was like, no, this is bad drag, but you guys showed up as women. So, like, what the fuck? And they were hurt. But I mean, honestly, if anyone has ever followed me on anything, I never miss. I always want to hit the fashion cue because you never know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Which is actually a really good segue into some news that we got for the podcast. We got invited to our first world premiere red carpet, and we're just going to show up and see the Australian ballet for free. They were literally just like scrolling through Instagram, and they're like, hey, look at fashionable people. I think they found the picture of us at the Bowery Ball with me, Ben, and Nicole.
Oh, that was fire.
Yeah, because they emailed the melanated email address. So when I woke up to it, I was feeling kind of sick earlier in the week, and I'm like, oh, this feels like spam. Because sometimes you're like, you're a winner. Welcome to this thing. Just click here and give us your social security number. It felt like one of those. So I looked up the company. It was like a PR company that was genuine. And I replied, I'm like, thank you so much for this invite. But low-key, who do you know here? Like, how did this, what do you do in our inbox? And like, yeah, we were on Instagram. We're looking for fashionable people, and we found Ri'chard's page. And I kid you not, my head grew 3 sizes that day. My head grew 3 sizes that day. And I'm like, you noticed me. You noticed me. Because earlier in the season, after the Bowery Ball, we were manifesting, we're like, we want to get invited to things like this. We want to go to red carpet events where it's all the who's who's or whatever. And literally not even 6 months later, that shit is happening. So it was just like, it was very much a validating moment. And I'm like, I am gagged. I've never been to the ballet. It's a ballet based on Oscar Wilde's life.
Okay.
So it's gay. I mean, ballet is already gay. If you think it's not, you're watching the wrong sport. But ballet is already gay. So it's a debut play about Oscar Wilde's life. And I'm hype. I already know my outfit's going to be. Like, my mind is like, boom, I'm ready. I can't
wait.
But what else what happened this week? Oh, I went speed dating. I tried to get Drew to come with me, but
I was busy having dinner.
I was eating. Yeah.
I had a planned catch-up that's been in the books for, like, weeks.
No, that is fully fair. So my friend Nassim and I went out because everyone's probably seen speed dating on the internet. They've done all these things like, oh, yeah, it looks so cool, looks so fun, looks so organized. So I kept getting ads for it. I'm like, you know what, this would be great to talk about because, again, we've talked about dating here, and I just want to see what that experience would be like in Australia.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Okay.
To, like, set this up?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. Location is...
So it was in St. Kilda, Hotel Esplanade, the SB, if you were local.
Yes. Okay, great. So we're going that far south. Okay. What time? Sunset? Like... Was this outside, inside?
Not you painting a literal picture. It was after work, and it was at like 7 o'clock. So the sun had already set. It would have been cute and picturesque, but it was indoors in this little back area where there's like maybe 20 tables just kind of interscattered. Like, it was a cute inner room. It was definitely the back room of the SB. I don't know if you've been to the SB, but that bitch is huge.
No, I've been to the front side and outside, but
yeah, there's a front side, outside. There's a back area where there's a concert space where it's basically like poof doof, like a whole dark. It's got a damn near warehouse on the inside. That bitch is large. So, and this is another room that I'd never been to before. I'm like, okay, Hogwarts, what is happening here? But it was very nice. It was very cute. I will say it's one of the most disorganized events that I've seen in a while. Like, the people were great. Like, I'm not going to shade the people. I made some really good connections there. Absolutely lovely. Okay. But the event was run by this presumably heterosexual man who just was making up the rules on the fly. So we would be sitting there, and so they have like odds and evens, odds on one side, evens on the other, and like you would assume just a regular rotation.
Yeah.
You would assume that, but he went 3 times around, and he put up trivia questions in the back that he didn't give us answers to. He was like, yeah, to help you guys break the ice, here's some random trivia so you can talk to your date about. And I'm like, if you're not going to give me the answer, how can I prove that I'm right? Like,
or like... on the card or at the beginning, somewhere in the middle, like, oh, I'm going to give you the answer, so you've got 5 minutes left. Like, exchange or not.
Something. Yeah, it would have been great for that. And like, so in my mind, I also walked in thinking there'd be like a sheet because we were numbered. So I was number 20, and I was, I like number 12, I like number 3. I thought it was going to be that. There was no sheet. These numbers meant nothing other than what side to sit on the table.
Not like a mailbox system?
Not a mailbox, I think you're cute. Do you think I'm cute? Tinder, swipe, like, nothing.
Something.
They made us mix and mingle at the end and just figure it out on our own. But we're gonna get to that.
Okay, confused face. I'm like, so what's the point? It's just like going to the bar.
What a great question. I love that question. And I was asking myself as well as I sat there being like, I paid for this. I could have just gone to Circuit. I could have just gone to any gay bar and just talked to someone, shot my shot, been accepted or rejected normally. I thought there would be some kind of advantage here, but no. So we rotated maybe 3 or 4 times. And
wait, you didn't go through all the lot of the entire...
I'm telling a story, Drew, right?
Okay. I'm gonna stop.
I'm reclaiming my time. No, so we rotated 2 or 3 times, and it worked kind of well. Like, again, the trivia was going in the background. He was giving the answers to some of them, but not other ones. And I'm like, consistency would be great here. Did not happen. Either way, we rotated maybe 3 or 4 times. Like, all right, guys, we're going to take a little break. When you come back from the break, sit somewhere else. And I'm like, absolutely not. Because now, if people are moving around, you might end up dating the same person 3 times and missing other people. Yeah, after everyone came back from the break, some people did that, some people didn't. Someone left in the middle, so there was like a third person. So there was like an awkward throuple at any given time after that.
Well, I mean, thruples are the new thing.
And they were the shift was so confusing. Everyone got up. They weren't sure if they were leaving or not. They weren't sure which side they were supposed to be going. But everyone I talked to was great. I would repeat that the people there were wonderful.
Okay.
The organization was trash. I'm giving that experience overall a 6 or 7. The people were like 8 or 9. The organization was a 4.
Okay, so then maybe could it be fair to say that his disorganization maybe potentially was the connector to build like a mild trauma bond?
We talked shit about them afterwards, like immediately afterwards. Like the whole thing ended, and there were also arbitrary games. So it's like if you and your partner can do these things, you'll get a shot. So there was a point where like you were like, hey, draw the person in front of you, and the best drawing got 2 shots. there was a paper airplane throwing contest, which I won, by the way. I made a spectacular airplane.
Wait, did you get a shot as well?
Of course.
Okay, everyone, this was on a Tuesday, a school night.
It was a school night. No, that was another point. It was a school night, and they kept having shots as prizes. I'm not gonna say no, but what the fuck?
And not even like a Thursday school night. This is like a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday, and I was luckily in the office on Tuesday, so I work in the office Tuesday, Thursday. So I already went to the office. So even if I had been hungover, my Wednesday could have just been like, oh, I'm at home, whatever. You don't need to. I don't need to be on. I don't need to be dressed and looking proper for anything. But yes, arbitrary games, very weird rotations, but the people were great. There was one issue that I had, but it wasn't really about the people itself. Because I had shaved my beard the weekend before, the identity crisis I was having all week was wild, because it actually reminded me of the hair episode that we had. Like, during that episode when Ella and Nicole were talking, I pretty much just sat still because I'm like, I'm bald. Like, I'm not really pressed about it. Because the last time I shaved my beard, it grew back. I wasn't feeling and kept away about it. Like, I didn't care. But for some reason this time around, because it's been 5 years of looking at this and looking at the set face, I did not feel like myself most of the week. And it was so jarring. I'm not, like, honestly.
No, I get it. I don't remember the last time I shaved my beard either. So I could get that, like, identity crisis.
Yeah.
It's like
I really didn't realize I had so much invested in my facial hair until this week. So, like, now it's growing back kind of. Like, around this time next week, I'll be, like, back to normal. But being baby faced, because my hair grows slowly. So it was like, it's been a week, and I have shadow. I have a 5 o'clock shadow 7 days later. So it was just like, wow, who am I? What's going on? What's happening here? And that was stressing me out, especially at the speed dating thing. I didn't feel overly flirty. Like, there were some cute guys there, but it wasn't like I am coming at the table as my best self. I was like, I'm just a baby. Hi.
I mean, you already, like, have a young, youthful baby face.
I do. So having no facial hair, I'm like, uppies. I don't know who I was supposed to be at this date. I didn't feel like, so again, like I said, there was no cards like checking like, hey, do you like me? You not like me? And I wasn't feeling super confident. Be like, I'm gonna shoot my shot at those guys, knowing that I don't have a beard. And it was like,
oh no,
I'm a youth. Like I genuinely have a baby face. I mean, I'll be grateful for when I'm like 80 and I still look like I'm 40. But in this moment in time, looking like a baby was not the move. But overall, great weekend. And my last night, probably very similar to yours. Did we get to what you actually did last night, or are we going to leave that out?
No, last night was fine.
Oh, this pause. Drew's calculating. The wheels are turning. It's very much that one meme with the girl doing math in her head. It's like, was last night fine?
Last night, or last night 2 nights ago?
Whatever the last night you want to talk about.
I got a marriage proposal last night.
What the fuck? Okay,
Yeah.
You go on.
It's the second one of the week.
Yep. And why are people proposing to you, Drew?
So I am leaving Australia.
See, I was holding on, like, I've known this, and I know this, and I hear it again. I'm like, I don't like it. Like, I am holding on. I'm being calm, composed, but I hate it. Carry on.
No, yeah, okay. So, raw, vulnerable here. Let's go back a month ago. Go on holiday, go to Europe, have an amazing time, do all of the things.
We get no children. I don't know where this story is going to go, but no children, please.
Disclaimer warning.
Yep.
I visit my high school best friend and his husband. They live in Lyon in France. So start my holiday off there, then I go to Mykonos and stop through Doha to see my cousin on the way home. All of those destinations are wonderful. Anyway.
Brushing over that detail. Oh, I can't tell
Right.
that one. Right.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the Patreon for the uncensored version.
There's a book coming.
Yeah.
My memoirs. So fast forward, I get back from holidays and I sign onto my computer Monday morning. This is my first day back, which is the day after the Microsoft blue screen attack, or not attack.
When Teams went down for half the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
So restarting my computer, blah, blah, blah. 9:20, it finally kicks on. I'm like, great. I'm like in bed at home. I went to sleep that Sunday night at 5 a.m. because I went out
Of course.
from Wednesday.
Yep.
Because Because
Drew got off the plane and was outside immediately. I'm like, do you not take a break? Like, what are you doing here? I swear I saw you like 2 days after you landed. Like, what's up? And you stayed out later than me.
Yeah, no. So Melbourne, 30 years ago, the cops raided this gay club and they did forcible seizures on the patrons. Everyone had to scatter their things and it was a travesty. So Tasty Raid was their tribute to the patrons and I went out to celebrate that. It was one night and then the other night was a local venue that does it once a month.
If you say it out loud, it'll get too popular and you can't go anymore.
Yeah. So anyway, then Sunday night ended up going out, go home, 5 a.m., blah, blah, blah. Turn on my computer. It's 9:20. There's a meeting invite that just like pops up into my Outlook. I'm like, what? Organizational change something. I'm like, do people not know me? It is 9:30 in the morning. I just got back from holiday. Like, I'm not with this. Whatever this is, I'm not for it.
It's too early for whatever this shit is, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. I look at the invite and it's my boss and my HR business partner. I have no idea what's happening because, one, I've only got 4 hours sleep and I don't really care.
Yep.
So 9:30 meeting starts. Hey, how's it going? They've got this all stern face and everything. And I'm like, what? This is Australia. You can't fire me.
Yeah.
So there's a performance review process that has to happen at worst, but no time to contemplate what potentially is about to happen. Pleasantries are exchanged. Okay, cool. Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
I was made redundant at like 9:33.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, sad. Not really.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So I was actually planning on leaving that Wednesday. I was going to give notice doing my mid-year performance review.
Did you feel like it kind of swept you under the rug with that? I'm like, bitch, you stole my thunder. That was going to be dramatic. I imagine you had an outfit. I imagine you slamming something on someone's desk. Like, I'm through with your bullshit, Clarence.
No,
I don't know. I just made a random white name.
So actually, basically, I was going to do my entire mid-year performance and just see where we wanted me to improve or do something or whatever. And I was totally going to sit there, take the criticism and find it all out. And then at the end of it, one more topic of discussion. By the end of the day, this will be my resignation. And I like planning this and I'm just like.
Is it practicing, rehearsing in the mirror? Like.
Well, no.
2 weeks notice. 2 weeks notice.
No. 2 weeks notice. Well, no. All of that is because my company decided they wouldn't be able to sponsor me, and I was trying to find other avenues to stay. And my visa is good until July, so I'm just like, okay, I can try other avenues. I can try to do the point system, get some skills and accreditations, and it just didn't happen. So I'm just like, okay, it's not going to happen. So this will just be my day. And these bitches stole my goddamn thunder.
I know you were salty as well.
Absolutely. But I'm in bed, green screen on, and I'm in this meeting. It's 9:35 right now. And my hand, I'm just like, don't laugh in their face. Don't laugh in their face. And don't tell them now that I was going to quit in 48 hours. Because I'm like, if I say anything to them, there goes my payout.
Yeah. And yeah, to any of our probably mostly American listeners, when you get fired here, you can't just be fired. Like Drew said, there's a performance review, but also there's a redundancy package. So like when I got fired last year, it took a while because they fought with the union, but I ended up getting a redundancy package. So I lived on that before I got to my trip. And very similar to Drew's. Like if Drew had just quit, he'd walk out with nothing. But because they fired him 2 days before he was going to, Drew got a little bit of something.
And I was like, okay, don't laugh in their face. Don't tell anyone yet. She's like, okay, cool. And they're like, it's not about your performance. And I'm like, I know it's not.
I know it's not. Y'all need me. Fuck you, mean.
Right?
You were trying to sponsor me. Not successfully, but you were trying.
Right. And the things that I've done and where I've taken my division, I'm like, no, it's not me. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. Run me my money.
Yeah.
And it's Monday morning. I went in Tuesday morning. I knew that I was going to quit. So the process is they had to inform us Monday morning, and then Monday afternoon they told the entire company. Tuesday they were going to have follow-up meetings, and then Wednesday the final decision. So I went in Tuesday morning like, you know what? I'm gonna wear a suit. I put on my really cute earrings and like got and pressed out my shirt, like everything that my mama taught me how to do. Went into the office. My meeting was at 10 and I'm like, hey, this is it. Here's my computer, my key card, my locker key, and the power cord to my computer. Like, I'm done. And they were like, caught off guard. And I'm like, I just got back from vacation.
Yeah.
I haven't picked up anything. You want me to work for like 2 weeks? Why?
Literally. There's absolutely no, like, let me just pick this up to put it back down. Just leave it there. Whoever's doing it right now can continue to do so.
Exactly. And like, I was on leave anyway for the last 3 weeks. So it wouldn't make sense logistically and operationally to pick up anything. So I'm just like, today's my last day. We can do the severance paperwork like now in our deed of agreement. Like, we out.
Yep.
So did that. And I've been in redundancy mode since. And that takes me to the current day. I've decided to leave Australia. I'm moving to Lyon, France, and I'm going to study French.
Well, shit. I mean, honestly, it's always an adventure. It's always a surprise. Every time you walk in the door, like, guess what I did? I'm like, bitch, I have no idea. Because there's always a new adventure. There's always something else on the horizon. I'm really excited that we got to do this episode. Originally, it was scheduled. It was supposed to be like hey, this is Drew. Drew's going to be more of a regular co-host. Get to know more about Drew. And now it's like a goodbye Drew episode. Get to know more about Drew as he leaves.
Actually, segue to that.
Oh. Plot twist.
Not really. So I've actually mentioned it before. I have a travel site. It's an evolving space, if you will. It's called theunplannedexcursion.com. It's my baby. It's where you can follow me, also the same Instagram handle, on my upcoming travels. I actually do have a lot to post from the last year or so, just because working and everything else in life and
yeah. Working will do that, yeah.
Yeah. So the first little bit of my trip, I will just kind of settle and just work on my next avenues of visas and whatnot. I will be going back to Europe on my tourist visa, and then I'm going to go to the Middle East to help out my cousin with her business for a bit. After that, I'll bounce back and forth between the two, and then in 2025, I will start my language course. So I might not be talking to y'all for a bit unless you speak French, because I'm doing a complete immersion program. And if I'm going to do it, I want to fully commit to it. So instead of Emily in Paris, it's Drew in Lyon.
I love it. I love it. I would be overwhelmed. It could not be me. When I was thinking about the idea of moving away again, because with the Australian passport, you can do work and holiday visas until 35 with certain places. And like, France was an option. The UK is an option. Norway, I want to say, is an option. Ireland. Oh. And there's all these options. The idea of starting over again, I was like, I'm old now. I have done it. Like, in my 20s, it was cute and fun, but the idea of starting over was just exhausting. So I have so much respect for you wanting to do this, and in a place where you have to learn another language to be successful.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It's rather daunting. I've actually scheduled my mental breakdown.
Okay. What day is it scheduled for?
It's scheduled for the 15th through the 22nd of October. That's when I'm going to Bali.
I was like, you're going to have a breakdown in Bali?
No, but I'm being responsible because there's a lot of moving parts when you decide to leave. And I had this arbitrary date of 2 days after my birthday, which is the 13th of October.
I mean, by the time this drops, it'll be after your birthday, so you can't make noise for gifts, unfortunately.
No, I'm just like,
for next year. For
just like, so you just know.
Yeah.
That's all. No. What was I saying?
Breakdown in Bali.
Oh, right. So I just picked an arbitrary date, right? And then I'm just like, wait, doesn't it make sense to leave my apartment at the month's end? So I shortened my time by another 2 weeks. Okay, great. So this weekend, I'm going to Sale. Next weekend, I'm going to Adelaide. The following weekend, it's grand final weekend. So I know one thing I'm going to, probably another. That's also the weekend I probably should be moving out.
It is probably the weekend because our crew is about to go have a cute little sleepaway adventure. And Drew's like, I have 17 parties. I'm about to leave. You don't know when you'll get to see my ass again. So show up.
Yeah. And then I've got to go to Sydney to say goodbye to all those people again.
Yeah.
And then my Sydney daddy wants to go on holiday again to say goodbye.
As one does. One last ride.
Yeah. And come back and then birthday farewell party.
She's booked and busy.
Yeah. And it'll be time for a 7-day rest to massage it all out, detox, and go forward for the next adventure.
Wild. So how many years were you in Australia altogether?
I landed in Australia December 17th, 2017 at like 6:30 in the morning.
That is so specific. I love that for you. It was an autumn breeze. Like, oh, actually, you said December, didn't you? It was hot as shit.
Yeah, it was December. Yeah.
Yeah, especially in Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been prime weather. You probably hopped off the plane like, oh, this bitch is ready for the runway. You're like,
No, I actually left Florida.
oh yeah, so it was already hot.
Yeah. So yeah, that was, I can't do the math. How
That
many
was about
years?
7 years.
Yeah, 7 years ago, and I was in New York for 7 years.
Well, so with that comparison, does Australia feel more like home than New York does, or does New York still feel like home for you?
It's really weird that you asked me this question because I've actually had this conversation several times this week
I believe
about
it.
what home is and how you define home. I think because my mother's passed and being an only child, basically have to find home in myself and my community and the people that I'm around. So that is my home. But a physical home, I don't know, because if I have to go back to America, obviously I'll go back to my apartment in New York. Like that's home, but do I consider that home still? Like,
Yeah.
New York is a fucking beast. Okay. Working in my 20s, it was very much Devil Wears Prada. I was an assistant to a president of a global metal recycling firm on Fifth Avenue.
Of course. Of course.
And it was like, he was the male Miranda Priestley.
I see that. I believe that. And Nicole had a very similar story as well. Like, I've only
Yeah.
visited, but sometimes the stereotypes, there's a reason for the stereotypes, and I absolutely believe that. That
Yeah.
sounds like a grueling experience.
But like in your 20s and being an assistant in New York, like it was actually really cute. Like, you know that moment in Sex and the City where Carrie does this little hop thing on the sidewalk? Like I think she hops down or like up. Like I did it a couple times.
Like, living your Sex in the City fantasy, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, Melbourne has felt much more like home. The family, the friends that I've made, and I say family because you guys are my chosen family. Chosen family is a wonderful space to hold and to cherish. So I guess Melbourne is home.
I fully see that. It's actually very interesting because of your 7 years, only like 3 of them were in Melbourne
Yeah.
because you were studying in Sydney, right?
Yeah.
So why does Melbourne feel more like home than Sydney? Do you feel like you found something here that you did not have in Sydney?
No shade to the Sydney boys.
I mean, we do shade Sydney. It's actually been a while since we shaded Sydney, so go on. I mean it as shade. It's not my words, but I mean it.
Okay. Okay. So, loved my Sydney boys. They're amazing. The reason why it worked for me so well is that when I got my first job at the university, I was on my working holiday visa and I met an original Sydney Sider. I was let into that crew because he was the linchpin and he's made his own crew from various points of his life. So it was easy to slot in there, but to break in to the scene in Sydney is very difficult. It's very much, what high school did you go to? Do you rent? Do you own? What do you drive? And just like these superficial questions. And I'm like, all of that has no bearing on the person and the character that you are.
Correct.
And where I live, it has no bearing unless you want to pay my rent. Like, by all means.
Yeah. Mind the business that pays you. Like,
Right. And if you have issues with it, well, I clearly don't need you in my life. Anyway, Melbourne is very much the opposite.
yeah.
It is welcoming, friendly, just an embracing city, culture, and community. So I wasn't here. Well, I was here for the first big lockdown. So I was dating someone, and we thought borders were shut, so
Someone has to live on one of the sides. Yeah.
right. And I was studying at the time, so I'm just like, okay, I'll just like drive down. I packed up a car and my steam mop. And
your steam up. That's
Yeah.
important. Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You gotta have a clean house. I'm Jamaican. And I drove down and did a whole semester here, and the whole lockdown was very intense.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I still tremor whenever we think about the COVID episode. Like, I can't listen to that one. I can listen to the other one. The COVID one was triggering. I'm not going to lie to you.
I wonder if there's potentially a study that some scientists could do on openness or the friendliness of the city's population based on the causation of a lockdown. because I don't know what it is, but I think post-lockdown, Melbourne just got really fucking friendly and everyone was just happy to embrace one another and just
be able to connect again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's a part of why the last couple of years in Melbourne have been so fruitful and eventful. And yeah, everyone was struggling, but eventually once all that lifted and we got back together, and there's a song, it's like We Lost Dancing.
Oh, yeah. From Fred again?
Yeah. And that's it. I think that's what plays in my head sometimes for Melbourne.
Mm.
A year ago, there was this chick, and she did an Instagram reel, Melbourne versus Sydney. Sydney's the pretty sister. She's got the harbor, the opera house, and the beaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Melbourne's the ugly sister, where she's had to work on her personality, her coffee, her culture, the arts. And Melbourne is so good for that. It's just rich and vibrant and just full of life.
Yeah. Very warm. It's a very warm city, despite the fact that it's not actually warm all the time.
Right?
Yeah.
And although for the world, Sydney is the gateway to Australia,
It is. It absolutely is.
it's actually Melbourne.
Yeah. We had this conversation plenty of times, but it bears repeating. It very much does have the same energy. From the outside looking in, Sydney is all I knew. And Perth randomly, because I think it was a reference in a movie at some point.
But
I don't
that's
actually know.
where you started off, though, right?
No. Well, kind of.
Yeah.
I landed in Sydney for Mardi Gras on accident. So I just thought Sydney was super gay. My first Australian experience was incorrect, but I'm like, wow, this is super gay. Heard about working holiday visa, and that was the first time I heard of either you love Sydney, you love Melbourne. And I enjoyed Sydney, but I was like, I got to check it out. I got to check Melbourne out because I learned about working holiday, and I'm like, I want to do this. There was a cheap flight a few months later, so I went to Melbourne in the middle of the winter. It was a rainy, cold-ass August day, and I enjoyed every moment of it. I went out with some friends who were staying here, and they showed me around, friends who I'd met in Sydney, and that's who told me about the working holiday visa as well. And I came out here, middle of winter, and I just had an absolute blast. I'm like, I know the weather's not great, but this feels right. Like, Sydney was good. It was good. Like, I will shade Sydney because it is that stereotypical place, but I don't hate Sydney. It's like North Side and South Side. Sometimes there's good things that are South Side. There's fun things South Side. I was there yesterday.
Oh.
But, yeah, we'll
I mean, I might have checked on Find My Friends.
Excuse me? The privacy.
All my friends are geotagged.
And as we should
Globally.
be, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I see Drew is still at home. This bitch is supposed to be here in 5 minutes.
Right? It's important sometimes.
Yeah, it's very important. But I would have to agree with you jumping back to the connections, because I did all 6 lockdowns. And it was the most isolating experience you could ever describe. Like, I can't imagine what actual prison is like, just being stuck there. So as soon as we got out, that's when the group chat started. That's when I'm like, I'm here forever. We're outside again. Let's get together. Let's build something that is not just, oh, these are my coworkers. These are my ex's friends. Like, I wanted something that was just this. And that's how the group chat started. It's how the podcast started. So I'm not thankful for the lockdowns. Like, do not get me wrong. Fuck those hoes. Like, with the dirtiest, never mind. But I fully agree that desire for connection was stronger than ever after we got out. All the things we thought mattered didn't. You had to reevaluate what would matter to you. And because Melbourne was the only one who had lockdowns like that, I think our brain shifted. Like, not always a good way, because there's a lot of people who just came out super feral from lockdown. So like, I don't want to pretend that we're this holy, wonderful peace land, because there's so many people who were so emotionally stunted for dating and romantically. But on the positive side, those who push through, absolutely there for the connections, and it's been beautiful. It's been beautiful. So I understand that. I see that for you.
Yeah. So Melbourne, she's been wonderful, and I'm sad to go, but also you never know where life takes you. I could be back tomorrow.
Yeah, you never know. You absolutely never know. Do you remember the first time that we met?
So I think the first time we officially met, I was with my partner at the time at Above Board.
Yes.
And where you want to?
I was on a date. For context, because I feel like we maybe said this in the first episode, but that was so long ago, even though I don't remember it. Our friend Rock, I actually wanted to get Rock in here, but he was busy. Rock added Drew to the group chat. And it was like, hey, everyone, this is Drew. It was around the same time they added our friend Mike. And it was like, cool, great, wonderful. And I creeped thoroughly, because anyone who's new to the group, I'm like, let me see this bitch, right? Cool. I vaguely have an idea. The next day, I have a date at Above Board, and I come in because I'm first, and I see this black guy with this other guy, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh, that was the day after. Like,
It was the day after you got added to the group chat, so it was very serendipitous. And I'm like, wait a minute, I just saw this face. I had just creeped on you, and like you looked at me, and I looked at you, and like there was like that knowing look. I'm like, do I?
Yeah.
And then my date walked in and was like, oh, yeah, well, obviously I'm not going to go over there and be like, hi, this is so-and-so. I think I know who you are, but if not, whatever. So then like that night I was like, hey, this is weird, but were you above board last night? Like I slid into Drew's DMs right away. It's like, yeah, I was. And I'm like, oh shit, I should have said hi. A few days passed and I'm hanging out with Mike. We went to Bell's Hot Chicken, then we went to another bar. We were sitting out, Mike walked out the door, and then you just spontaneously show up at this bar. Like you just showed up on your own. There was no plan. It was like, oh. What are you doing here? And that was the first time we properly met, and we were talking shit, and I think we took a selfie and put it in the group chat. Like, look everyone just fucking showed up here. There's room for everybody here.
There's always room at the table.
There's always room at the table. Like, from that moment, we were just like talking shit, because I was going to go home. And that was the moment I realized that every time you show up, you make me stay out late as fuck. Every time Drew shows up anywhere, I don't get to go home anymore.
How is that my fault?
You can ask that question right here in front of all these people that are not in this booth with us.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Drew is a pusher. It's like, what? Why not? Why don't we just do this thing every single time? But is it not?
Do you not always have a fun story?
Oh no, I'm a very stubborn person. Like I play like you're controlling me, but I can go home anytime I want to.
You're a grown-ass man.
Grown-ass man. Most of the time I'm there for the plot, and sometimes I'm a part of the plot. Either way, it's a fucking mess and a half. And it's just been a fantastic, ridiculous time. I think of a lot of the people that I met in the last few years, there's very few people that I was like, oh, instant connection. Like, boom. Like there was no in-between time. I think you came to my house one day, you, me, and Nicole, and we were talking about something with our grandmothers, and there was some story that I said that was just like universally relatable to the three of us, and I feel like it had something to do with soap. Like I said, like a bar of soap, collecting bars of soap and smushing them together.
Yeah.
Like
no soap?
Literally. And for some reason, that story came up when we were cleaning, and the three of us just had like this mind meld laugh, and I'm like, oh yeah, Drew's a good one. Drew is a good one. And it's very funny because a lot of the times that I'm having conversations or listening to your stories, I'm like, why am I talking to myself? Like,
the shared lived experiences.
Absolutely. It's insane. So I was definitely of multiple minds. Like whenever you said you were leaving, I understood it, but I hated it. I hated it. I was so mad at you. I was like, this bitch, you have till July. You have multiple marriage proposals coming down the line. You could have made this work.
Well, I mean, again, you never know what the future holds.
You never know. You absolutely never know. But I do understand because you got to pay out. You have less than a year. You're already looking at other options in Europe. It made more sense than staying and trying to apply for a job and be like, hey, I know you know me for 2 months, but do you want to sponsor me for the next 3 or 4 years? It just logistically didn't make any sense.
Exactly. If I went to an employer, I would want to know that sponsorship is immediately on the table. To wait 4 or 5 months and then to be back in the same position, that's just like collecting a paycheck. And that's one of the things Australia actually has taught me overall is the work-life balance and understanding that you don't live to work.
Yep.
And that was one of the burnout reasons of New York. But the only reason why I left is because of the working holiday. You turn 30 and there's a time crunch. It's like now or never.
It's literally,
that was not an escape, but like,
there was urgency there.
Right. New York is a full-on beast, and Australia, yes, it can be depending your environment and your employer. But overall, there at least tries to be a work-life balance. And with the new switch-off laws that just went into effect.
Now you can ignore your boss if they call you after hours and like, thank you. I mean, they were never going to call me because they don't have my number. But
right? You called the teams.
Yeah, you call teams and I will ignore it.
Exactly. It's 4 o'clock on a Friday?
No, I signed off at 12. Stop playing with me. I'm moving my mouse around. Let's be real here. Unless something urgent comes up, I'm here for the appearances only.
Exactly.
But no, it makes sense. And so many times through our friendship, I don't have to know, why would you do that? I'm like, no, I can see the logic there. Because anytime I'm like, I have this idea, I know if I bring it to Drew, it doesn't matter. Because like, you're already going to agree with me anyway. And I'm like, am I crazy? No.
No, it's like, how are we going to do this?
We're doing it anyway. And like everyone needs one of those friends. Like, even if it's the most delusional, crazy idea you have, one other person like, why not? Let's do it. And actually, with the podcast itself, like I'm sure you know this. I'm sure you feel your gravity. You've been a quintessential part of the podcast building because you were there from the very beginning. As soon as the podcast was a thought, the first episode we recorded, I sent it to you and Kelly. Like, what do we think about this? Like, is it worth doing? And I think, what was your exact quote after you heard the episode?
I don't remember. I just remember laughing a bunch. And I felt like I was in the room having just a conversation.
Yeah.
It was completely relatable. Like, that's my story, or very similar to it.
Yeah, I feel like I say this a million times. My gift and my curse is my memory. So your exact quote was some little
why
black
couldn't
boy.
you just tell me?
Because I want to see if you remember. It was a test, bitch. He's like, some little black boy is gonna find this, and it's gonna be everything that they need. And I'm like, yes, absolutely. And you came to us the next week and like, I want to help you guys with this project. I want to invest my time. And from that moment, it was like you, me, Nicole, and Kelly were the foundation of this project. And even in January, we put these pieces together and we sat there and we decided what we wanted this to be. So even though you will be leaving, and I know I probably should have warned you I was going to make you cry, but I knew you were emotionally fragile, and I was like, I'm going to do this on purpose.
Okay.
But you absolutely
Listeners, I'm crying.
Yeah, I mean, we can hear the sniffles. And that's okay. We love feelings. There's no tissues in here. You can use this wet wipe if you want. I don't think that's good for your eyes. But it's absolutely true. And anytime that this project seemed larger than life or too scary, you were always there being like, why not? Why not do this thing? Why not push for this? Why not try? Because again, it's really easy to be confident on your good days and be ready to take on the world. But on your bad days, you're like, this is a lot. Like everything seems too much. You've always been that person be like, no, we're just going to do it anyway.
But that's what our community is. That's what our family is. Like,
absolutely. And I'm just giving you your flowers before you go and giving it to the rest of the world. Everyone's getting this very intimate conversation. And it's like, wow, what a personal moment we just shared on the internet.
This is the most intimate the internet has seen me.
Yeah. And it's fitting because, I mean, we're recording the season finale next week, but that's very much going to be like a send-off, what's next, et cetera, et cetera. This is your love letter to the city. This is your love letter to Australia. And however that manifests itself.
Okay. Well, actually.
Was that a segue?
Yeah, it kind of was.
Oh, my God. Look at us. Same minds.
Okay.
Take your time.
My love letter to Australia. From Sydney to my first flat share to an amazing restaurant that I worked at for about 3 months, to those friends who made Sydney what it was, the friends I made at university that helped me through the times of just navigating my first overseas experience, to my first penthouse apartment, to my friends that I made while studying my master's. You guys have been instrumental to this time as well. So that's the first half, right? That's Sydney and the times of just like waking up and going to the beach and the people that you meet on the beach, going nude, swimming, tanning, whatever. I don't like tan lines.
Okay.
And then to Melbourne. To Melbourne as a community as a whole, to the friends that I've made from my sex community, party friends, and my melanated in Melbourne family. You all have sparked a joy in me and have provided me happiness over the last several years. It's just been truly amazing. To my lovers, to the ones that I've been in heavy partnerships with, to the ones that were brief, to my casual encounters, you all have held a special place in my heart. Everyone that's been mentioned and to those that have not. I've loved every single moment, every single meal, every wine, every catch-up, every beach trip, road trip, beer, cocktail, late nights, early mornings, and toilet pictures. It has been a wonderful experience. It's been a hoot. It's been a blast. Things that I could never imagine because I never imagined coming to Australia. And the thing that I've always told people, to allow yourself to think that you can. Just by doing that, I think opens you up to the experiences. And why I keep you out late at night is like, why can't you? Why shouldn't you? Understandably, if you have responsibilities and things to do, whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
go be an adult, I guess.
But it's everything else. Just open yourself up to the opportunities. And if you fail, you didn't really because you tried versus
not knowing if what could have been.
Right. Because you never tried. And that is failure.
Absolutely.
It's off topic, I think, but that was all that. And it's been a wonderful experience. And you never know what the future holds.
Absolutely. It's not off topic on an episode that's about you. It's never off topic. I mean, all of our tangents are always relevant because it's what you feel, and feelings are the full validation. This is a show about experiences, opinions, and advice to people. So it's never off topic. We may pivot a little bit, but it's still following the theme. And you never look back on the nights that you got enough rest. It's always those, oh my God, bitch, you remember that one time you broke up with XYZ and we were out till 8 a.m.? And we've done that for each other back and forth. Anytime the bat signal goes out, I'm like, well, I guess I'm not sleeping tonight.
Okay, that's what we're doing.
Right. I guess we're doing it. I love that, being able to lock in and be like, all right, we're doing it. For the ups, the downs, the laughs, the cries, the tears, it's always been absolutely magical.
It has. And I will just... Saying the word cherish is like that. That's not the right word. I just want to take you all with me, but I will have you all within my heart and my memories, and will cherish them. And you'll get to follow my stories on my website, theunplannedexcursion.com. And eventually I'd like to make a line of soaps based off of my travels.
Yeah.
And a little glimpse into the future. I'm writing my memoirs.
Yes.
Where that will have the juicy details about the cities.
That could not be said on the air. We say it, no kids, but this is X-rated shit. So
No, I mean, I'm a global citizen, and you think I've done some shit here.
Oh no, I know for a fact this is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm no idiot.
Yeah.
So I'm set. I'm ready to read this book. It's not even out yet. Hurry up, bitch.
Yeah, so like the things I'll be working on.
Yeah. Any farewell advice, any lasting impressions of your send off to Australia? Because by the time this drops, unfortunately, you will already be gone.
Advice that I could give anyone is to believe in yourself, cherish those around you, find community, and I guarantee you that community will love you back for whoever and whatever you are. Don't be afraid to be your true, authentic self, and know that you are loved.
I absolutely love that. And that's beautiful because you are the very walking epitome of that statement. So I'm very glad that you added that in to tie in. Your impact, your influence on Melbourne cannot be understated, and your absence will be felt thoroughly.
Gonna cry again.
But that's okay. It's very much allowed. We still got some more time. We're going to, unfortunately, lose a lot of sleep. We're going to lose a lot of sleep. And we're going to make a lot more memories. And I could not be more excited.
This isn't goodbye. This is, so where are we meeting up next?
Yeah. This is see you later in X location. Yeah.
Exactly. Either my next home or somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. You know, I'm always down.
Right?
Because it's always going to be a blast.
Exactly.
Well, we've got a couple more weeks to fuck it up, and I'm excited for that. But until next time, I'm Ri'chard.
And I'm Drew.
And this has been Melanated in Melbourne.
This has been Melanated in Melbourne, a podcast that analyzes the Australian lifestyle from the lens of two Black American besties. Visit us at melanatedinmelbourne.com or follow us on Instagram to send us your comments or questions. Thank you for listening.